And guess what? I'm Minister of Health and Wellness. I have a responsibility for all of Jamaica. And in a pandemic scenario, I have to deal with, contribute to healing the world. So I really am happy to be here. And I say to those who may think otherwise, that all of us count and all of us have to create a solution for the challenge.
I'm happy that you raised that issue, Mr. Tufton, because one of the concerns that we are having is coming from the rural areas where we are concerned with people who is seeing this large group in the rural area and they're outside. And what the entire Jamaica needs to also realize is that when the COVID is spreading, it's not picking sections, it spread all across Jamaica. So it doesn't matter who you are, what color you pick, or who you vote for, or whatever. It is the whole entire Jamaica that will be affected. So I'm happy that you raised that. So one of my first questions for you is within the rural area, what are you doing for them to get the necessary information? Because some people are saying, oh, we don't have internet in the rural area. We're not on Instagram. We're not hearing this or we're not hearing that.
Well, first of all, I have to really salute our public health officials across the country. We have an infrastructure. We have people in every parish, hospitals, health centers, 320 health centers, 24 hospitals, and every parish is represented. And those persons are on the ground in communities communicating the message. In addition to that, Spice, we have advertising, we have radio, TV. Some person, if you don't watch TV, then you listen to your radio. And you would be surprised how many Jamaicans have a smartphone. A smartphone is essential now. So they go on their Facebook and they go on their Instagram and other things. So we communicate through all of those platforms. And we also provide a number where people can call to get additional information. So we're not perfect, but we have tried to use every means necessary. And you know, even in your case, with your following, we hope that some people watching who may not have heard follow up based on the information that we can provide. And we thank you for that.
And that is why it's also good for you to be on my platform. I'm not sure why someone would not want you on my platform. With me having 2.6 million followers, there's a lot of people who probably didn't hear your message or hear from you who will definitely hear from you this evening. And that is why I want to make sure I get out as much questions as possible. I'm not sure how long you have with me, but I want to make sure that the entire Jamaica will hear about, you know, their concerns. So let me jump right into it. St. Catherine is on lockdown. I'm from Portmore, by the way. So not because I'm in Jamaica presently, it doesn't mean that I forget my people. So I have to, you know. All right, the alphabetical order is not being monitored properly, and a lot of people are concerned about the way how, you know, the government says you go out in alphabetical order. What is happening? There's a lot of chaos in Portmore. They're not practicing social distancing when they go out to do the shopping. What measures, what can we do to stop the whole jumble up of the shopping that is going on in Portmore? Because what I think I asked before I come, I got a lot of DMs as well. They say that there are police officers out there, but they think the police officers are there to make sure that there's not any outburst of anything, but there's not someone that's physically making sure that at, you know, 65 and older is there at this time. If your name is not N to H or however they do it, like everybody's just going out, waking up early in the morning and going out there.
So first of all, Spice, and I appreciate that question, and you have a point. I mean, there are some long lines, particularly that relates to food shopping versus at supermarkets and so on. And that is as a result of some of the restrictions imposed. If you allow me, I want to first of all explain that the government of Jamaica, and this is not just my decision, we have the Honorable Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who is providing great leadership. The cabinet, we deliberate on these things, we discuss it. The reality is that we have had an issue in St. Catherine with the coronavirus, where we had one institution with approximately 1,000 employees, most of whom are from St. Catherine, and there has been an outbreak within that organization. The virus is very, very contagious, meaning that it spreads very easily. If I talk to you and I am too close to you, you can pick it up. And of course, you go home to your family members, your friends. So the lockdown was a result of us thinking that the way to try and control it is to discourage movement. Now, I want to say that people need to understand that the last time we had such a public health issue was 100 years ago. That was the Spanish flu in 1918. The world has never seen this. So we're learning as we go along. Right. We believe that the decisions that we have taken was the right one. Now, we are prepared to review, and the Honorable Prime Minister, I know, in his meeting on Monday with the Cabinet, will review the measures. But we feel that if persons observe what was told to them in terms of the alphabetical order, then we would not have had this kind of rush. So the truth is, some people not observing it. Now the police and others who are there are supposed to give guidance, and they are doing some of that, and as well as managing the movement. We are going to have to look at it again. We believe that the vast majority of persons are getting ahead, but the rush is happening in some places, and what we're going to have to do is look at it and see how we can restructure it. But it is a learning experience for us too.
And I appreciate that. I just glanced at some of my comments, and they're saying it's happening in Spanish Town as well. So we're not leaving out Spanish Town area. It's happening in Spanish Town, Portmore as well. Some people are saying they went to the supermarket at 10 a.m. and they didn't get through at 5 p.m. And somebody also just comments, reduce the size of the group. But however, even if we reduce the size of the group, there are people in Jamaica who are not listening and they're not observing the government orders. So I would like the government to implement that, take that into consideration. So if a police is at the supermarket to make sure that if your last name that starts with M, you're not supposed to be there, then you will be charged. I guess some strict measures need to be put in place, because everybody are going to just come outside and bungle up and create a chaos, and then we're going to blame it on Una like Una and do nothing, when the truth is all of us are in this together. So you're just one person. So I would hope that moving forward, when they review it, that they will abide to that.
Well, this is why I'm enjoying talking to you, because you have your followers, you have people who listen to what you say. We need the message out there in all quarters of Jamaica. And to the extent that you appreciate and understand what is going on, then we appreciate the fact that you're sending that message. But you're absolutely right. Persons need to just listen, try to listen to the directions that we give. Remember, now in Spice, this is in your interest as an individual. I'm talking about the people in the community. We don't want any Jamaican, whether in Portmore or Spanish Town, to get COVID-19. We're trying to protect you. So the actions of the government is not about the government. It's about you, but personal responsibility is absolutely critical. And so the message is very important, but following the instruction is absolutely critical.
And I can appreciate that, because before I came onto the live today, I make sure to call as much people from Portmore to find out how it was operating, and you know, the feedbacks that I got, it wasn't good. So like 65-year-old person was there with a younger person, and the younger person is arguing that me are going first and me first come, when the truth is that wasn't what the government said. Yeah. So you can't complain when you are not following the orders, because that is going to create a problem.
Absolutely. But you know, we're gonna appreciate too that it is a rough period for Jamaica, as it is for the world. There is some panic, there is some fear of the unknown, and we kind of have to manage the process in a way that makes us flexible. So I'm not going to blame the people for everything, because I think government have a role to play too. But we are prepared to be flexible, we are prepared to adjust, we are prepared to assess, which is why if it means making some changes around the shopping hours, I'm sure the Prime Minister and the Cabinet will consider it and will take necessary adjustments when the time comes.
Most definitely. Here is another issue that they are having now with the shopping and the concerns that they're having. The poorer class of people are not able to buy in bulk, because I made a video and I said, I see people lining up in long lines. You're not practicing social distance. Why are you waiting on the appointed time to run and get this and that? And they're saying, I can say that because I am able to afford to buy in bulk and stay home. What about the people who are like not working now? Is there anything that is being put into place where they will be able to get, I don't know, some form of
support.
Support.
Yes, we have made some adjustments in terms of providing support for those who are most vulnerable.
Yes.
The Minister of Finance made an announcement. We had it publicized on all media platforms where persons who were working, who had to be laid off because of the slow time that we're in and the shutdowns and the cutback of businesses, that they could apply. Over 400,000 Jamaicans, the last time I checked, applied for that support. And so they will be getting some assistance. In addition to that, members of parliament have been given a little support to help the most vulnerable in the society. But you're right. Part of the reason why we have to keep shopping establishments open, even with the shutdown, is because some people earn to live for one day.
Yes.
Their earning cycle is very short. So if
Right.
you shut them down, and they can't buy a week of grocery.
Right.
So we have to manage that, and that's why. But clearly, the alphabetical thing is a difficulty in some instances because people may be panic buying. And what we want to reassure Jamaicans that you don't need to panic, because it's not like we're going to do something that would make you not have for extended periods of time. So if you don't get it today, you'll get it tomorrow. And that's a message that we have to get out there.
Right. And with that, I want to hold you right there. You say if they don't get it today, you'll get it tomorrow. Is it that we need to extend the days and not only give them 2 days? Because here's another issue that they're raising in my DM. They're saying, but Spice, if I should wait on the alphabetical order or wait on my turn, the amount of people who live in maybe St. Catherine, they may feel like by the time them reach, everything is done. The supermarket don't have enough food to last or to serve them. So they're panicking and they're trying to rush to make sure that they have the little to eat.
Right.
So
I want to clear that up if I may, because part of even with the restrictions, we do allow the suppliers of food. So the bakers of bread, the manufacturers of flour and rice, the juices, we do allow them the flexibility to keep manufacturing or producing and to deliver. So it's not a case where, because St. Catherine is on lockdown, if the supermarket sells off all the bread today, they won't have any bread tomorrow. Okay. So people must understand that, because we know that people have to eat every day. And so you don't need to buy everything one time. And we know a lot of people don't have the money to buy everything one time. So it will, over time, we will replenish stocks in the supermarkets.
All right, good to hear that. Let me jump onto this other concern that I have. Someone from ANOVA is saying it is the only place without COVID-19. Is that true?
Up to recently, I believe. I think we now have a case there. I get briefed every day, a couple times a day. I think we had a case a day ago. The truth is that the COVID-19 is now in every parish across the country in different numbers. St. Catherine and the Kingston and St. Andrew area are the largest numbers of COVID-19. That's the biggest population of the country in these parishes. Mm-hmm. And as I said before, because we had the situation with that one institution, that call center, it has jumped the numbers significantly because a lot of the employees got the virus. And it's not just about them, because we have a lot of them, we have contacted most of them. It's about when they go home, their family members, when they go to play football, when they go to church, when they go to wherever. It spreads, so we have to keep things quiet so we can control it, which is why we have the lockdown. I
was just going to raise that issue about the Olorica workers, because a lot of people are saying the people who work there in Portmore, St. Catherine, doesn't necessarily mean that they live there. So why isn't there a lockdown in Kingston area as well?
All right, good question, Spice. Good question. The vast majority are from St. Catherine. I mean, I looked at the numbers. Of the almost 800, I would say about nearly 500 are from St. Catherine. Then you have the next most are from Kingston and St. Andrew. And then you have sprinklings in Clarendon and a couple other places. So while we could have locked down the other places, again, our intention as a government is not to create disruption across the board unless it is absolutely necessary. So what we're doing with the public health officers is contact tracing those people in KSA, but we felt it was so big in St. Catherine, we had to take that decision. Remember now, we had also done the same for 7 and 8 Mile Bull Bay, because that community we felt was exposed. We opened that back up. We did the same thing in Cornpeace in Southeast Clarendon. We just opened that back up. But wherever we think the virus is dominant and it is spreading, anywhere in the world you go, the approach is to stop movement for a while, identify the people who are vulnerable, and then treat those people by quarantining them or isolating them. That is how you're going to manage it. Okay,
all right. Walk me through the process, because a lot of people are scared to go into quarantine. So I'm going through my Instagram page, I'm going through my DMs, I'm hearing from the people on social media. Walk me through the process, because what is happening when the government come out and say St. Catherine is on lockdown, you have a lot of people who call them family at St. Thomas, them call them family at Montego Bay. They want to move because they don't want to be locked down. And then some people who may have been exposed, like they know within themselves that maybe they went to that call center, they don't want to come in to be quarantined. Can you walk me through the process, because I'm not sure why people are feeling like it is a deadly process. What happens when you go into quarantine?
Well, the first thing that people have to appreciate and understand is that quarantining, which really means just putting you in a place where you do not interact with other people.
So it means therefore that you're not going to take them and put them with other COVID other people who have been exposed.
No.
I just want them to be clear on that, because that's why most people don't want to go into quarantine.
So remember now, Spice, you can quarantine someone at their home. So you could say
in quarantine at home for a month now.
Exactly, right? So you can say to somebody, if you examine their home and they have a room and a bathroom access where they don't come in contact with the children or the grandparents or the wife or husband, you could say to them, and the health people will keep in touch with you, stay in that space for the next 2 weeks, because that's the time the virus takes to show. You could then quarantine also in a government institution, and we have several of them around the country. And all it means is that you stay in a room, you probably watch TV, you read a book, you listen to some music, you have your phone to make call, you have a bathroom that you can use. But the restriction, the major issue is that we don't want to expose you to others, because if you have the virus, the others will pick it up. So we're trying to protect you and protect others around you, your loved ones, your family members. And then we can also treat you if you have symptoms and signs, and then you move to isolation. Now, the difference between isolation and quarantine is that isolation is when you show that you have symptoms, you have the cough, you have the fever, you have the virus, if they test you, they put you in a hospital and they treat you so you can get better. Some people are isolated at home in countries like where you are and in England and so on, because there are so many people with the virus. They make some of them stay home and treat them at home. Right now, we don't have as many, so we treat most of our positives at hospitals. But it's not a bad thing. It's really to protect you and to get you well, and so you don't infect other people.
All right. My next question is, since many people have been laid off, I think we spoke about that already.
Okay.
And you said that the Minister of Finance is making some support for that. Right. Do you have an interest in any PBO?
Oh, do I have an interest in BPO? Oh, right. All right. So that question, that has been said, that I have some interest in a BPO. I am not shutting them down. First of all, let me just say I don't. I have no interest in any BPO business. And also, critically, the decision as it relates to the BPO space, I don't make those decisions on my own. This is a Cabinet of Jamaica, Government of Jamaica decision. All the decisions we take around COVID is discussed with the Prime Minister, who is the chairman, the Cabinet of Jamaica, and then we make those announcements. There's a rumor that I have interest in me or some other minister, another colleague minister. That's not the case. In my private life, I have given consulting services to many businesses, but in government, I only focus on what is in the best interest of the country and the people. And the decisions that we make now are in the best interest of the country and the people.
All right, someone is asking, well, I'm not sure if this question would be for you or the government, but they're asking about the fixing up of the national arena instead of fixing up the already existing hospital, because there is not enough, I guess.
Right.
I think I'm having some.
Right. So what happens, Spice, is that we expect, just like in America and in other parts of Europe and the world, that a lot of people will get the virus. As I said to you before, that this virus, the last time the world saw a virus like this was in 1918, the Spanish flu, and the Spanish flu killed 60 million or more people across the world. The way they had to deal with it was the same thing we're doing now. Social distancing, staying away, shutting down, stopping movement. But the fact is, because of the numbers of people who will get ill, we have to set up our hospitals to accept them, but we don't have enough hospital beds to deal with all of them. So the national arena is being retrofitted, meaning we're transforming it for a while into a hospital by putting in partitions, putting in beds, and we're doing that to prepare for the possibility of a lot of people having the disease. Because as a country, as a responsible government, we don't want people to have it and they can't get medical service. And the truth is, many countries in the world are doing that. If you look in Europe, you see people transforming arenas into
Most definitely.
They're doing all of that stuff, so that we're not the only people doing it, but we have to do it for our people because we want to make sure that we are prepared just in case that we need it. And when it passes, we will go back to normal as people would expect.
Someone is asking, how many respirators does Jamaica have?
All right, so we know we are just about 100 or a little over 100. That is a target that we had set for ourselves, because based on how we think the virus will spread and the number of people who will need hospitalization and those who will be serious to require a ventilator, we think that would be a sufficient amount, because different people will come at different times. Now, bear in mind, Spice, and I want to say that to Jamaicans and to your listeners, most people who get COVID won't need hospital. You know, next year this time, I believe COVID is going to be like the flu. There's likely to be a vaccine, and you get the vaccine just as how we used to get it. You build up your resistance. The population will have resistance because it's moving through the entire world. So you get it, you take medication, you get better. Even now, most people who get it don't need hospital, but those who need hospital, you're going to find a percentage of them that need it because it is severe. And those are the people we describe it as comorbid condition, meaning they are hypertension, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancers, and they're being treated for cancers. People over 65 whose immune system is weak. Those we call the vulnerable groups. So we have to try to protect them, because if they get it, which is why we say to the BPO call center, the young people who work in there, you may be good if you get the virus, but when you go home to grandmother and grandfather, it's going to be difficult for them because they are not as strong as you are, which is why we have to manage those people and have the hospital service ready for them.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine.
I'm so sorry. I'm letting in my little son from the
Oh, no, that's good. Always is
Right.
good.
I'm here with my kids as well because we cannot return to Jamaica. So let me go ahead and raise that concern that a few people have been asking about the borders, when it will be open. Some are saying they're stuck here in America, their visas soon expire, their
Well,
mother is of age, they need to return home. Is there any way you can answer that question for the people who is concerned about the borders being
first of all,
open?
I want to ask you, how are the kids, and are you homeschooling, right?
Say that again.
I said, first of all, I want to ask you, how are the kids, and are you homeschooling? Like us
Yes,
here in
I'm definitely
Jamaica.
doing homeschooling, and we do that through different separate aspects. My son is from Wilmers, my daughter is from Immaculate Conception, and they're doing a great job. They do classes in the morning on the Zoom, and you know they
Right.
keep me up to date through the email when the classes are coming in, and I just click the link on the Zoom. So I must commend them on that as well. So yes.
That's very good. Well, the truth is that you are one of many Jamaicans who are stuck where they are. And again, I want to explain the rationale for it because there's a reason for it. The virus spread through people, and the world really has been brought to a standstill by the virus. I mean, many countries in the world have said you have to stay put because the extent to which you travel, you could either pick up the virus while you're traveling or
Right.
transmit it. In our case, we have imposed these restrictions like many other countries, and where we are now is assessing how it is as a government we are going to start allowing travel again. Now, it's not just up to us, it's up also to what the countries that where our Jamaicans are. So the
Right.
US, for example, have some decisions to make, and they are making them. Airlines that are now grounded will have to make some decisions as to when they're going to start flying. Our own border protection in terms of some of the things we have to put in place to protect people coming in. So what we have to do now, and what we are doing now, is collaborating to find a solution. And that involves working with other countries and with all the experts involved. So it is going to happen. Just give us a little more time as we seek to manage the risk of the disease as other countries are doing.
I am willing to give as much time as possible because I believe that, you know, the only concern should be that of the people, which is the majority, and that, you know, I mean, your job is keeping Jamaica safe. So, you know, I'm aware of that. It's just that there's a lot of people out there who are complaining about being stuck and can't go home, and I understand their situation. So if you could take them into consideration as well. Some people are saying that someone came in from, is it Turks and Caicos? And
Right.
they were tested positive for the COVID-19. So they
Right.
are now raising some concerns of why this person came in from Turks and Caicos and they are not being allowed and they are Jamaican citizens.
Right. So in this case, and I'm happy you asked the question because it is on the media now. In this case, that individual was operated on in Jamaica at the University Hospital in the West Indies some time ago. A serious operation. The person has cancer. Person went back home. Now, some of these smaller island spies don't have the facilities. They don't have the specialists, the surgeons, and so on, because they're small. They're like, 20, 30,000 population. So the person went back home, got ill. They tried to correct it there, and they got worse. So the person would have died. So the country contacted back the surgeon in Kingston at UWI. And the university hospital spoke to the ministry, went through the process on compassionate ground with the Ministry of National Security, and they got a permission to be flown in so they can do a second operation. They never knew and did not test until after the operation. They decided to check for COVID. And it is after the operation they realized that the person was positive. So the person was moved into the COVID ward, which we have at the university, and is being treated. But my information is that the doctors were well prepared. They were properly clad. I don't get the impression that anybody was at any major risk. And I may be not getting all the information because I just learned of this morning. But on the issue of the individual, The truth is, it is an ongoing case that a doctor was dealing with, and the person would have died if they never got the support of university. And we have to make some exceptions when it comes to life and death in these cases, and that's what we did.
Which is understandable. I must commend you as well, because I believe that you're also risking your life by being out there and doing as much as you can. So you're also risking your life. So I want to thank you on behalf of the people for doing such a great job. I know some of my questions are not maybe of the minister for you, which is, you know, you're the Minister of Health and Wellness, but, you know, I just want to try my best to answer as much as, you know, to get as much answers as possible. Some people are asking about the poor tea that is coming in and about the health risk. You know, if there's anything that is put in place, will they be in quarantine? I'm not sure if that question should be for you as well. I mean, it's still health and wellness. They're concerned if they're going to bring the COVID into the country.
Who are those people? Sorry, I didn't hear
the
that.
Deportees.
Oh, right. No, man, you can ask me the questions, but if I can't answer it, I just tell you I can't answer it. I mean, you know, that's how we roll. We're gonna roll.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the time, and I think everybody else appreciates it as well. As you can see, the amount of views we have right now, they really are appreciating this. So thank you so much.
No, and thank you. But on the deportees, again, this is a matter that the Ministry of National Security, Minister Horace Chang, and he does take it to cabinet. So all of us discuss it, Prime Minister, everybody. And it's being dealt with from that level. Now, I can't comment on when or if they will come, or when they will come. It's not a matter of if, but when. But what I will say from a public health perspective, when they come, they are going to be subjected to what we call a protocol or a procedure that will allow us to make sure that they're not coming in with the virus, right? And that's the same quarantine arrangement. So you put into a particular place, you stay there for 2 weeks, your temperature is checked every day. If you have no symptoms or you're tested, because we do the test, we collect the swab or the specimen from your throat and your nostril, run it in the lab. Then once they are free of COVID, then they would be allowed to go in the general population. So our responsibility is not to decide when they come. That's national security. Our responsibility is that when they come, we take care of things to make sure that they're not affecting negatively anybody in the population.
Right. I've been asking you a lot of questions because my DM is full. You can imagine the amount of people who are reaching out to me. Is there anything that I am missing that you want to elaborate on? Something that I probably never asked you that you want to get out to the general public?
Well, you know, Spice, thanks for that.
Before I go back into the question.
I just want to use your platform, your celebrity status, your influence, the people that follow you and depend on you to give them advice.
Right.
To say that, firstly, this is not a disease that we should panic over, but we should be concerned about. So we should always say, think about it, that is something that we're going to have to work to overcome. Everyone counts. All hands on deck. No individual, no group can solve the problem. And so it is so important that we remember the personal responsibility. And the message is always out there. It's about keeping your sanitization, hands, washing hands with soap, the sanitizers, and now is the time where you must do it every time you move and every time you touch something. So you buy a little stack and carry it with you. The social distancing, 6 feet apart, so you're in a group. You must understand that the virus is transmitted based on close contact. So deal with that. We can't, the police can't enforce that to the full. If you in yourself don't realize that you have that role to play, then you're going to make a mistake. Because as a society, we are a touchy-feely people, right? We love interacting. We love the vibes that we build when we're together. And that's not a bad thing. But now is the time to understand that we have to change that approach to solve the problem. So even a little hug up and the kiss on the cheek.
All of that has to change.
That is good, and that shows friendliness and warmth. We can't do that now because
no is not the time.
Exactly. So we have to take a break from that. And then finally, you know, when the government issues some advice about, you know, the lockdown or the curfew and so on, we don't do it to hurt people. We do it to actually protect people. Because we have seen, Spice, you have seen it, I'm sure, countries that not managing it properly. And you have seen the body bags, the deaths, the devastation, the sadness. We don't want our grandmothers and grandfathers or parents
Not
or
at all.
friends. So my advice to the population is that we're going to have to hunker down a little bit, work together, follow the instructions, be orderly. You know, sometimes we kind of get a little indiscipline as Jamaicans, you know that, right?
Right.
Get rid of the indiscipline this time around, and let us try and overcome this. But finally, and very importantly, I have no doubt that we're going to get back to normal and do very well as a people, because we're a strong people, and we can overcome and will overcome. I want to just correct something, by the way. There's no COVID in Hanover. Somebody just told me. I was thinking of another parish. So you're right. There's no COVID currently in Hanover. No COVID case.
Okay, great. Because this person left a long message on my social media with her concern about Hanover. She said, if we can't lock down Hanover, nobody can come to Hanover. Is there anything that can be done where, you know, people traveling to them family and stuff, since as the virus is not there and we're trying to eliminate the spread of the virus? Can you close certain areas so that people don't go into the area? Like if you're not from Hanover, you're not supposed to be in Hanover.
Well, you know, can I tell you, in some countries, and I can't rule out that that won't happen in Jamaica. Again, it's not my decision alone, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. But in some countries, they shut down entire states. I mean, there are places that, in New York, you know, places that were once very busy that they just shut down. So it's not impossible to say shut down the whole country for a while. But of course, we have to make provisions if the Prime Minister and the others were to do it. Because as we said earlier, people still have to eat and they can't shop for an entire week. But yes, we can shut down parishes just as we have done St. Catherine. So basically what we're saying is all persons in St. Catherine should not leave the parish of St. Catherine. We could do it for Hanover, we could do it for St. James or anywhere else, or we could do across the board, or we could do just a community like we did Bull Bay, 7 Miles, and Cornpeace in Clarendon.
Because what they are saying, they don't want you guys to wait until the suddenly to lock down the place, just as when, you know, a person may reach to expose everybody. If it's not there, then it's possible that you still can lock down the area so that it does not go there or continue to spread. So maybe you could raise that concern.
That's an intelligent question, whoever asked it, because the truth is, the medical team, the doctors who assess and analyze the situation will tell you that even though you don't get a lot of cases, the virus lags for about 2 weeks. So the virus could be under the surface, spreading. And so someone may say, why are you locking down Hanover when you don't have a case? Or you lock down St. Thomas when you only have 2 cases? One of the good things about the public health people is that they do something called contact tracing. Contact tracing means once you have a positive case, they track down everybody who was linked to that positive case.
Right.
They track down where they went, and Jamaican people travel a lot. We move from parish to parish. We're like
most definitely.
Right? We have a girlfriend over in another parish. We have a cousin in the other parish. So someone who is positive, one of the things I've noticed is that when you contact trace all the people they have been in touch with, sometimes all 6 parishes they've got to over the last week. And therefore, they expose these parishes. So even though you don't have a case, the contact trace could show that we may need to take action based on who they have been in touch with and where they have gone. And so we could actually do that because the virus is there, even though it's not showing.
How long does it take for you to, after you test for the COVID-19, how long do you take to get the results?
So normally we would say within 24 hours, but we could do it within 12. I mean, it depends. We test in batches. So I did my test, by the way, and got negative this week. So
congratulations. Thanks. I'm happy to know that. Congratulations.
Right. I think it's important that as one on the front line, You know, I have to go out there and motivate the people who are on the ground. And so I put myself at risk, but I understand that's the nature of the work, right? So I did my test, and I must tell you, it's not pleasant, but it's doable.
Your test is not pleasant?
Yeah, it's not very pleasant, put it that way. But I'm not discouraging. If you have to do it, you have to do it. They put a swab, they call it. It's like a Q-tip that you use to clean your ears, right? And they put it in both of your nostrils, and it goes right up to the back, almost the back of your throat or the back of your head.
Wow.
So it goes right through the passage, and then they twirl it a little to pick up the substance around here, and then they put one in your throat through your mouth. So when I did the one in the nose here, first of all, I don't really like going to the doctor, right? So I shut my eyes. It's like when I do a blood test, I don't look at the needle because I'm afraid.
Right.
but I mean, when they put it and it hits the back, you know, the nurse said to me, I just want to tell you that you're going to see twinkly stars when it touches the back. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. But it was a little uncomfortable.
It sounds like it bad. It sounds bad to me. So because I don't want to reach to that stage, I think it's best me stay home so that I don't have to be exposed.
The staff, the nurses and doctors are amazing. Our Jamaican
I'm so proud. Can I tell you how proud I am? Let's talk about the people who have recovered, because you have a lot of people who have also recovered. So I want to commend the frontline workers and all the nurses, doctors, everyone in Jamaica. I am extremely proud of the work that they are putting in. So let us talk about the recoveries. And I also have a question I don't want to forget. Meanwhile, you're talking about the recoveries. I want you to also elaborate. When we see, they say Jamaica now has 160 cases and 25 recovered. Is it that I must take away the 25 from the 160?
Right. So when we track the 100 and odd cases, and that is all.
And that would be the total amount.
That's the total amount that have gotten COVID.
Okay.
The recover we keep as a separate category. So we have just over 20. I think it's about 21 or 22. I need to check, but it's over 20 recovered. And we have 163, I think, the last time I saw. I know we're supposed to get an update shortly. Maybe after this program, I'll get that. And we try to keep the public informed. Now, we have lost, unfortunately, 5 persons. 5 have died. What it shows is that most people recover from COVID-19. Most persons.
That's
and like
good.
I said, people who die, unfortunately, are normally the older population and people who have underlying sicknesses. So, you know, as I say, hypertension, diabetes. I mean, we have had a 79-year-old who passed. He had some other conditions. We have had a 40-year-old, but he had some other underlying conditions.
Sorry to hear that.
So it's so important that if you have a situation already, you have to be extra careful. The kids tend to get through very quickly and easily, but very importantly, one of the reasons why we suspend school is that the kids, while they will overcome COVID for the most part, they are very big spreaders of it, because they, you know, our children, they don't necessarily wash hands and take precaution. They jump and play around and touch everything.
Most definitely, and then they bring it home.
And they bring it right home and they give it to grandmother, grandfather, mommy, daddy. And so what the history has shown us is that kids do fairly well if they have it, but they spread it very rapidly because they pick it up and they don't observe a lot of the hygiene practices that